Yo, BQuanchi here, back at it again doing a tier maker list. This time something a little bit different, doing snack chips, like potato chips mostly, and other chips. I'm live in America, North America, so USA, so nothing too different. So I'm not sure who's going to be watching this video, but these are more American-based snacks. Um, this isn't sponsored in any way. I just want to say that because a lot of my chip choices are like the Frito-Lay, like the Lay's brand and stuff like that. I'm mostly doing it for flavors and also the kind of style of chips too. So somewhat brand, but generally speaking, in terms of just like potato chip flavors and some like the Lay's website, it's a little bit easier to get like image and stuff like that. I did make this tier list myself. Um, I'm trying to get ideas as well, but I'm going to put a link to this exact tier list in the description of this video. So if you want to make a video off it, feel free. Give me feedback if you want other things to do on a channel, other tier list makers. But I always find like it's kind of hard to find a tier list you really want that fits you, because sometimes I feel like it's too little or too much. So this is about, I forget how many flavors, but near the end it's going to be more based on style than just necessarily chip flavors. So and no like specific brands. I am kind of a brand snob when it comes to my snack foods and chips. I do tend to go on Lay's, but hey, a lot of potato chips have the same flavors and all that. So let's get started with the first one. So this is the original potato chip flavor. I'm gonna give it an A. I really like the classic potato chip flavor. Not much to say, just had that good saltiness. So when you're on a good crunchy salty snack, I always got to go for that. A lot of times I do like the other flavors as well. But yeah, I always feel that's a classic. Also, did anyone have friends that did this when they put like potato chips on sandwiches or burgers or anything like that? I never tried that. It's not like too weird, but I know, especially like sandwiches. Like if you put potato chips on your sandwich, let me know like if you do and what is the ideal chip to do it with. Like if you do original or certain flavor or all that. Probably going to revisit that question as well as you look through. So the next one we have sour cream and onion, and that's going to be an A. I think that's a classic. That's like one of the most common flavors as well. Love my sour cream and onion. I think I lean towards that a little bit more so. But yeah, it's a really good one as well. And then going to the next flavor, we have barbecue. I feel like I was kind of like weird with this one when I was younger. Just kind of seemed kind of weird to have like a thinking like a barbecue sauce, but it's more just like a flavor and all that. So it kind of grew on me, but it's not my favorite. I rarely buy it myself, but it's still a decent flavor. I know a lot of potato chips have the barbecue flavor, but I'm gonna put this as a B. And the next one, uh, this should be sour cream and cheddar, which is also a really good flavor. I'm going to put this in an A as well. I'd be like, oh, every flavor is going to be an A, but that's not going to be the case with all these. So, but yeah, I'll say A. I think I like sour cream and cheddar more than sour cream and onion. Those are really good. And then I'm going to feel bad just putting in the A, but I don't know, for some reason, like I always thought jalapenos were like, oh, that's a really spicy pepper. That's going to be hot and spicy. But I really like the chip, like the jalapeno chips, jalapeno cheddar. I'll give it an A. Not to, I feel bad when throw so much up in A, but that's the. I know sometimes these are kind of hard to really tell on the icon with how tier maker list is. Oh yeah, so that's sour cream, onion, sour cream, and cheddar. But now I'm going to be more pickier. So salt and vinegar. I really hate vinegar stuff, and I hate these chips, so they get a definite F for me. So I know I don't like really much vinegar. Like when I do fish and chips, I don't put malted vinegar. I think the most time I eat vinegar if it's like mixed with a sauce or vinaigrette, like a barbecue sauce or hot sauce or like a balsamic vinaigrette or something like that. But I hate the sea salt and vinegar chips. Like if I ever get like a multi-pack of chips and that's in there, I either try to toss them to my roommate or just almost in the garbage. I don't think I'm that wasteful, but I hate sea salt and vinegar. And then pickle. Ugh. Oh, I hate pickles, and that goes in F. I think it's also kind of the vinegar stuff. Like, I just really, that's one of the the most pickiest food. I just really hate pickles. But going back to that question about sandwiches and stuff like that, I wonder if the pickle chips are good for sandwiches. So I'm not sure who thought of that, or if they came up with that flavor because of the potato chips on a burger or a sandwich and stuff like that. So yeah, that's definitely F for me. And then Doritos, the spicy nacho. I got the spicy nacho first. I think before it was called spicy nacho, then it became spicier nacho. I will have to say this is an A. One of my favorites. There's a few Dorito chips I like always go to, always have to grab. So that's one of them. So I really like the spicier nacho because I feel like as a kid, spicy food just kind of like when it came to like chips. And we have a few spicier down the road in this tier list, but I always like worried about, ooh, that you're gonna get like spit out fire like the cartoon characters. So I didn't like spicy food, even though I didn't really try it. But the spicier nacho Doritos are really good. They're one of my favorites. Um, then we have the regular nacho cheese. So this is a classic. I think it's okay. I'm gonna rank this as a C. It is a good chip. I think if I want something cheesy and nacho cheese, I always want to go for spicier nachos. I think that's why it is a much better flavor. A lot of times, I'm probably gonna repeat this a lot in this video too, but I get like if I'm packing lunches for work, I usually get like from the store the multi-pack of chips, and sometimes you get a couple of the nacho cheese. So that's probably the most I eat them is if I have a little grab bag for my lunch or whatever. And they do make it good, decent. I know again, not to like talk about brands and foods and stuff like that, but Taco Bell, that's actually owned by the same company as well. So I'm already going to talk about Taco Bell as well with some of these other choices. But yeah, Doritos, I think it makes a good, the Dos Locos tacos, but I'll give it a C. And going on to the next flavor, the Cool Ranch. This is an A for me. Oh, keep it in order, but I will have to say the Doritos Cool Ranch is my most favorite flavor. Um, yeah, it definitely really good. And again, it's been around for the longest. I know it's not the first Doritos flavor, but it's one of the classics and stuff like that. Because I think Doritos started as a tortilla chip, and then it had other flavors. But it's one of the earlier ones, and it's definitely been around. Also, speaking of Doritos, have anyone tried those like dips? Like they have Dorito dips. I think it's just like the nacho cheese and coriander like dipping sauce. You can dip like onion rings or maybe like vegetables, which that's funny as that sound. Dip your vegetables in Dorito sauce, but yeah, Cool Ranch definitely up there on the list. Next, we have the taco flavored Doritos. I think this is one of the classic flavors that wasn't around for the longest time, and they brought it back. I've only seen it in this like retro packaging. Like you see that sometimes with potato chips, like even like Lay's or stuff like that. That you bring back the retro design. The taco flavor is pretty good. I'm gonna give it a B. It's not my favorite. It's a good mix-up, so I want something different than just always getting Korean. So it's a good one. Also, has anyone heard of making a walking taco? I heard that from an old job that I used to work at, and it's like hey, we got goodies for the employees day, and it's like just use like crunch up a bunch of tortilla chips. Usually Doritos is a big one. Put ground beef and cheese, maybe lettuce, and just eat it in a little snack bag. But walking tacos, and or even if you do a taco salad too, just I think Doritos is pretty good for that. But I also kind of like the taco ones as well. So good flavor. You don't see it too often, but I think it's because they kind of brought it back. And I noticed so many different flavors of Doritos. I think a lot of the spicy ones, but so we won't go through all of them. But this is the Salsa Verde one, and this one's okay. Like it feels like I'd rather dip a tortilla chip in salsa than having kind of like a salsa flavored tortilla chip. So I'm gonna give this a D. And yeah, I definitely like the other flavors a lot more. Like if I'm forced to have it, like if like, oh, we're giving free chips and this is the flavor, like I'll eat it. But it's definitely one of the lower points of Doritos. The next one, Doritos Flamas. I mean, looking online, they have like so many different spicy Dorito flavors. It's crazy. Some of them have like a hint of lime, so they have some variation. I feel like this is too spicy for me. So I'm gonna give it an F. I probably would never eat the flavors and all that. Also, I could have put Takis on this list. I didn't, but I honestly never ate Takis. So I think that's part of why. But it kind of like falls in terms. I think it's a Frito-Lay product. A product. I'm not sure, but it is more focused on flavors. I know some of the Dorito ones are kind of like more unique for Doritos, but no Takis on this list. But that will do it for most of the Dorito flavors. There's some stuff coming down at the end of the video, as you can see from the list remaining for this tier list. So next is Cheetos. I feel like a lot of the cheese puff snacks, like if you buy like a store brand or generic brand, it all kind of falls together. But I think with Cheeto products, in my opinion, they make a difference. Like sometimes I just feel like it's just not as good, but obviously crunchy Cheetos are the best. So crunchy Cheetos goes to the A list. And puffs, I know they have different Cheetos as well, like the paws or the popcorn and all that, but I'm just sticking to the classic, the crunchy and the puffs. The puffs, they're really good too. Kind of reminds me of the cheese balls, and also they kind of remind me of like, when you see packing peanuts and stuff like that, and you just want to like, hey, I want to eat that just to take the edge off, and like, you can't eat that because it's not really food. You got Cheeto Puffs instead, so that kind of takes the edge off when you want to eat something you're not supposed to eat. Just because I like the crunchy Cheetos a lot more than the Puffs. They're both very good, good cheese puffs, and depending on the generic brand, you can find decent ones. But again, like I said, I'm kind of a brand snob, but I'll say the Puffs will be a B. And then next, Flaming Hot Cheetos. These ones, going back like, I always got scared. It's kind of weird to say scared as a kid, but when I saw Flaming Hot, I always thought like, oh, that's gonna be so super spicy. Like if I ate one, my tongue would be on fire, like in the cartoons, and I'll be spitting fireballs out of my mouth. And like, no, I don't want to eat spicy, flaming food. I did actually try these eventually. I think I tried the Cheeto fries. That's it. I almost forgot about that Cheeto fries. I didn't put it on the tier maker list. But I think it kind of runs together with the Flaming Hot, but the Cheeto Flaming Hot fries people swear by. These, I tried them. I'm going to give them a D. That might ruffle some feathers and all that, but yeah, I feel like if I go to Cheetos, I'm going to go for the crunchy or the puffs. I'm probably don't really lean towards the Flaming Hot. It's not like the worst, but I know, again, it's crazy that some people really love the Flaming Hot Cheetos, so more power to you, just not for me. But oh well, maybe I'm not giving them a fair chance, but that's how my tier list is going to be for this video. So next we have Tostitos. So this is more of for tortilla chips versus just this brand specifically. I do like how the brand has different style of chips. Like they have the rounds, they have the bowl shapes, the restaurant style, the hint of lime. This may be more of a knock at Tostitos, but I feel like any brand, like I usually buy the store brand when it comes to this chip. So this is more of a ranking of tortilla chips, like plain tortilla chips in general. I'm going to give this a C. Even though I feel like tortilla chips are very important in today's society, in the snack world, I feel more so it's more based off of the dip. So like having nachos, like with nacho cheese or salsa and guacamole. And that's another thing. Like I was very picky as a kid that I didn't really like tomatoes that much. If I could give it a chance, I never ate guacamole because I was like, oh, that's green and icky. But like guacamole's a shit. So any takeaway from the video, guacamole's a shit. Eat your guacamole. With tomatoes, like one of my favorite styles of salsa is a pico de gallo with like the chopped onion, cilantro, and it looks like some people hate cilantro as well. But yeah, I just feel overall tortilla chip, it's an important chip, but by itself, it's just not as good. Even though I'm kind of guilty of just like eating tortilla chips by it's the plain ones by themselves. I don't have salsa. It's always that salsa ratio when it comes to tortilla chips. Either you have too many chips or not enough salsa or too much salsa. But just as a chip by itself, it's okay, but it just definitely relies on the what you're dipping it into. So next we have Fritos, and I was also very picky with Fritos when I was a kid too. I I never ate it, even though I ate like tortilla chips. These are corn chips, and I don't know if it's like corn. Even I like corn as a kid, so I like corn now. So it's like I don't know what really put them off. I think I had people say this as well, that some dogs' feet can smell like Fritos, like especially if you have like the bigger sized dogs, like a golden retriever or lab, and because like dogs sweat through their paws. Which apparently, I think that's true. I always hear that. It's always associated with the smell of Fritos with dog feet, but they're really good. Going back to Taco Bell, um, the Frito burrito, which I don't think they ever have. I think they got rid of that and just have like whatever crunchy tortilla strips for some of their burritos. But the Frito beefy five, is it 5 layer? I forget. No, I don't know. Uh, but the beefy Frito burrito, that was the shit. That was my go-to on the value menu. I was so upset when they discounted that. So I really came around with Fritos, but the plain ones, I'm gonna give them a B. Really good. I'm glad I gave them a shot, but um, I think just good. The next two chips are gonna affect why the original flavor of Fritos gets a B, not an A, because we got the chili cheese one. These are the shit. I'm just gonna drop an A. I'm not gonna tease it, but chili cheese Fritos are the best. I always like if when Taco Bell did a Frito burrito, they would have done it with the chili cheese chips and leave that as an option. I did try that as well, not to get too lazy. I think I was kind of picky about chili, like any like bean chili stuff. I think it's just like chili flavor. It comes to that, but these chips are the best. I do kind of wish they would have make. You know, Fritos make like a big scoop, like a bigger chip version of the originals. I wish they would do that with the chili cheese ones. And I was going back to the idea of walking tacos, like using crushed chips with ground taco meat and cheese. Fritos way better than Doritos. I feel like those sort of two, either like tortilla chips, Doritos, or Fritos, makes a good walking taco. Fritos MVP, they are the goat when it comes to that kind of shit. Also, there's a thing like Frito pie, which I don't think I legitimately ate, but I think it's just like chili beans and meat with Fritos. So Frito pie sounds good. I don't think I had like the legit version of it, but Fritos is a staple. And then the next chip we have on the list, we have the honey barbecue twist. These are the shit as well, so that definitely gets an A. Look at my list and what's remaining. Too many A's, so maybe that says more about me. But honey barbecue, I would have to say the best. I think this kind of changes back and forth because sometimes that chili cheese hits a spot. The flavor, it especially has that unique twist. I know Ruffles tried like a barbecue one that's just Fritos got it around. So these are the was my favorite. Even like going back to it, I say like I almost wrote up Fritos because it's like, oh, they smell like dog feet, like corn chips. But chili cheese, honey barbecue twist, best. And then next we have Funyuns, and this one's I have mixed feelings about because I really like onions. I really like onion rings because I really like have fast food restaurants, like how some of them like have mixed, not really like fast food, really sit down restaurants. Have the option to get onion rings and fries, or just onion rings for your side. But I feel like Funyuns just isn't as good as onion rings. So I do like the flavor, but it's like every time I eat Funyuns, I'm thinking I'd rather eat actual onion rings. So I'm gonna give it a C. And another thing that kind of always reminds me of Funyuns, and this is talking about a crappy animation show. Well, not too crappy, but I know it's not as well critically received. But that one show on Comedy Central that they had drawn together. I always like that one bit with like Foxy Cleopatra with, I forget which episode, but she was like, they ain't your Funyuns, them Foxy's Funyuns. So he's got to think of that when eating Funyuns and all that. I do know they have a flaming hot version of it, which I didn't put on this here make a list because I haven't tried it and I don't really care for the flaming hot flavors. Just because I think a lot of these are the same brands, so it just kind of like runs together. And I remember I just got some flashbacks too, but I think Lay's chips, they did have some limited time flavors where they had like the Doritos Cool Ranch flavors on Lay's chips. And I think they even did have for Funyuns. They had the Funyun flavors but on Lay's potato chips. Even going back to Lay's again, again, I'm kind of a brand snob. That's my favorite brand. This is not sponsored. I like the chips. Again, salt and vinegar pickle, icky, Lay's. Gross. But I'm not sure if they keep on doing this, but I used to do like the do as a flavor where people like submit flavors. Like they had bacon mac and cheese, they had chicken and waffles. I think they have gyro. I forget all the flavors, but you always see those unique limited time flavors from Lay's, which I'm not sure if you still see those often or yearly. But maybe that was kind of a fun contest and all that. So, but yeah, Funyuns, that will be a C, just because they're okay, but they ain't onion rings. They ain't onion rings. That's my complaint. Next, this is more so the ruffle flavored chips. Fridges, I'm gonna give them a B because I feel like they don't do anything much. I know Ruffles sometimes has like the same flavors like a sour cream and cheddar, sour cream and onion. Um, it's good. It always seems like that's like the go-to dip chip. Like when it comes to besides like nachos and tortillas and salsa, but like when you have your dip, you're like, oh, you get the because Lay's has a rigid one too. But I think those chips don't have as much flavors besides original. Usually Ruffles does, the Ruffle brands, which I don't... Is that Frito-Lay? I forget. I don't know. I don't know too much about snacks. But when it comes to that, I always eat, even like the original flavored Ruffle chips, I eat plain because I don't care too much about dip. I know like the big one is like the French onion dip. I don't go for that. Like, it's kind of weird because I like French, I like onion, I like dip, but French onion dip, nah. So maybe just because I have a kind of a weird relationship with like gloppy white stuff on food. I don't know. Don't ask. Don't dig into that in the comments. But uh, it is kind of a good difference. Like you get a good crunch with these Ruffles versus like a plain style potato chips. But I feel like they don't stand out as much as versus like a classic Lay's and all that. So they're all still pretty good. Like I'll get them on sale and yeah, they're a good chip, but not A tier for me. And next, Lay's stacks. This is kind of more towards a style chip, but more specifically Lay's stack chips. I'll give it an A. They are one of my favorites. Maybe kind of like weaknesses because I'm guilty of like. I know people like complain like, oh, chips have mostly air in the bag and stuff like that, but I'm not quite sure when it comes to these. Like, I can like almost smash these in a day. Like, if I'm really hungry, like even the tall cans, they don't last too long. And have really good flavors. I think they have a lot of the typical flavors. I really love the cheddar and sour cream and onion. Lay stacks are my weakness. That's my kryptonite. They have like barbecue, which is fine. They do other flavors. Not too many. I'm trying to think. I think they have like a buffalo wing or like a loaded potato. I think they have a loaded potato flavor. That sounds familiar, but I really love the Lay's stacks. I almost say I like it more than the regular style potato chip. I don't know, just because it's more like a solid chip you crunch into and all that, but very good stuff. Now Pringles. So this is more of a brand, just because I'm not going to have every flavor of Pringles and all that. And this is like the last part of this video. I'm going to go more towards style versus every single flavor. I'm not going to do every flavors of Lay's, every flavors of Ruffles, every flavor of Pringles. If I think about Pringles growing up, when I visited my grandma, she always had Pringles, and it was almost like a thing. Like, always have Pringles, and that would be like my favorite chip to eat at grandma's, and she'll always have like a little cupboard full of them when she knew we were going to visit and all that. So not to eat too much, but it was like the thing, and it was just convenient because you can like pop up the top, eat a bunch, and then close it and share it and all that. But I feel like just looking back at them, I have tried them recently, but I feel like they're way too thin. I think that's it. Like they don't feel like a really good chip. I think they have a lot of flavors. I think they even have like sweet flavors. I'm not sure, but I think they even do like the chocolate or whatever, which seems kind of weird with potato chips. I'm not sure how they do it, but they had a pizza flavor. That was the one. Like the pizza flavored Pringles were a classic, a staple. But I'm gonna give them a C. I'm sorry, Grandma, but I don't know. I kind of fell in love with Pringles. They are a good staple, but when you have Lay's stacks over here, I'm gonna go for those for Pringles any day of the week. So and I feel like this is kind of a brand snob. Again, this is not sponsored, but yeah, another one for Lay's in A, and then Pringles C. And next, this is kettle chips, but more specifically the Lay's kettle chips. I love these a lot, so another A. I know Lay's goes in the A's, but I really love them. My only complaint with them is they don't have enough flavors. Like, I would have to say even the original flavor of the kettle cook are much better than the originals of the regular chips. I think they have barbecue. They have sour. Do they have sour cream and onion? I know they have a jalapeno one that's pretty good. And they have like a. I think they have salt and vinegar, which is gross, but I think they have a salt and black crushed pepper or something. So my complaint, they need more flavors. If Lay's any representative of Lay's watching this video, more flavors with the kettle cook, because those are like the best. Like probably the best original flavored chip I ever had with the kettle cook style and all that. And then next, this is the kettle brand. I think this brand's been around longer. I think it's kind of like the first one they think of when you think of kettle cooked chips. I'm unfortunately going to give it a B because I like the Lay's brand a lot better. The good thing about this is that they have a lot more flavors to choose from, so they definitely have that. I feel like they get a little too crunchy compared to Lay's, so I think just because of the competition with Lay's, personally, I'll give them a B. They have really good flavors, so I might grab a bag every now and then, but not my favorite kettle chips, but they're definitely good, and I don't know, maybe they have made an impact in the snack industry with all the style, but not quite as good as Lay's. And next we have the Lay's Poppables. So these kind of like a weird football shape, more airier chips. I'm not sure if they're better than for you in terms of like calories and fat and all that. I don't know. When you're eating chips, like, hey, you're eating junk food, so you know why not go for the worst of it? But for some reason, I feel like you don't get as many chips as you do with other bags of Lay's. With the Poppables, it have not as much flavors. Like they have a good like barbecue. They have a salt and I think a cheddar one. I'm gonna give it a B. I really like them. They could change up, like a good texture and all that, and I just feel like they need more flavors. They're a good chip. Yeah, so I'll put them in B. And then next we have the 3D Doritos, which I think these are here to stay. I know, was it early 2000s? I know they were around for a limited time. They discontinued them, and then they brought them back. So I think they're here to stay. They're really good. I think they changed the flavors up a little bit. I think the Cool Ranch is a little bit spicier with these ones. So I'm going to give these a B. I don't get them too often, but they're a good mix up. Again, it's like one of those things when you get chips, I feel like is when it comes to like air in the bag and how much chips you get, it's kind of weird with some of these more like 3D shapes versus a flat chip. But yeah, I do like the flavors. I don't think there's too many flavors. I think the classic style Doritos is definitely a lot more to choose from in terms of flavors, but the 3D ones are pretty good, so I'll put them as a B. And then the last one I have for this tier list is, this is more so baked chips. So these are kind of like the more healthier chips, like baked Cheetos, baked Lay's. These get an F. I would have to say, honestly, it's been so long since I tried them. I don't know, they feel stale, or they just don't feel like they have the flavor. I'm not sure, just because they're baked and less fat. And I think when you're eating like junk food and chips, like, hey, you're eating junk food, so mine just will go all the way instead of like this halfway gross crap I hear. I don't know how many people like these baked chips. I feel like they've gone down in terms of like when you see them on the shelves. I don't really see these very often. I'm sure they exist, but I don't think people are grabbing to them, or they're just grabbing for the gross rice cakes instead when it comes to snack foods. But that do it for this tier list. I feel like this is pretty good. Hopefully my tastes are decent. Again, this is not sponsored in any way. I just like these are just convenient to get images for because I did make this tier maker list myself. And I'll have a link for it in the description. Let me know in the comments below what else you want me to make tier list of. I will even go through the efforts of making my own list in terms of getting all the images and slapping them together. It's really hit and miss. Like you find a good tier list, sometimes it's like too little, too much, not quite what you're looking for. So I might do more tier lists that I create myself because I made a little account with them and all that. But that'll do it. So let me know in the comments again my flavor choices. If you agree, disagree, what are your favorite chips? But that is a fun little distraction for the channel for something different. Have more tier lists to upload and make. But that'll do it for today. So y'all take care. Again, the best way to support me in the channel is to like, comment, subscribe, and watch. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch are the main 3 ones. But that'll do it. So y'all take care and have a good rest of your day. Bye.